So we're obviously here today to celebrate 25 years of advocacy and education for the St. Johns River. But we're also here to acknowledge the tremendous support through the years of our volunteers, our members, our donors, and our sponsors who make this work possible. As many of you know, environmental advocacy can be extremely challenging and it's often disappointing. Many of the issues that impact the river's health can take years, if not decades, to resolve. Even when the solution seems straightforward and the science is on our side, the St. Johns still, unfortunately, often gets shortchanged. Fortunately, though, our supporters, you, have not been deterred over the 25 years. After 21 years of serving in this position as executive director, I remain in awe of the unwavering support, commitment, and the ongoing generosity of our donors. We have encountered difficult times, daunting challenges over the years, and serious threats to our river's health. But you have never given up, and you've always had our backs. And for that, we are grateful.
As Jimmy has mentioned, we've been so fortunate to have such dedicated support. With a small staff tasked with protecting a massive watershed, our volunteers have stepped up time and time again. We thank all of you who have volunteered your time and talents over the years, and we sincerely appreciate the service that you have done for this organization. Thank you very much.
Well, as part of this anniversary, we've been spending a lot of time so far this year really looking back and celebrating important advocacy milestones that have helped define the organization. However, today is also about honoring key contributions that were made at key moments along the way that had a profound impact on the financial well-being and future success of Riverkeeper. Two donors who made critical early investments are the Healy Foundation and River Branch Foundation. The Healy Foundation provided a grant that allowed us to purchase our first boat. And in case you don't know, there's two primary requirements to start a Riverkeeper program. You have to have a Riverkeeper, and you have to have a boat. So I'm really grateful. Andrus couldn't be here, but Natalie's here today. Thank you. At the same time, Jennifer Johnson Duke and the River Branch Foundation also provided an important operational grant that helped us hire our first Riverkeeper. Both of these generous donors have supported us now for over 25 years. Thank you. One of our most loyal and important supporters and partners through the years has been Jacksonville University. Jacksonville University table over here. In 1999, then President Paul Tipton sent a letter offering office space to the fledgling Riverkeeper organization. They have generously provided us with a home since that time. Our relationships with Dr. Quentin White and JU and the generous support has been absolutely essential to the growth and success of Riverkeeper. We appreciate you more than you know. In 2004, another loyal donor stepped up at a critical moment. Our boat motor died, and we didn't have enough money to buy a new motor. Wayne Hogan and Pat Hogan, they stepped up with a major gift that put us over the top and put us back on the water. When we needed a place to store our boat, former board member who's here, Brooks Busey, provided dry storage at his marina, and he's still donating their services today. Others, like Barbara Ketchum, helped us successfully raise the funds needed for critical projects over the years. In response to the massive algae bloom we saw up here on the screen earlier, in the river, Barbara led a fundraising effort to create our first documentary, The Green Monster. The award-winning film that was produced by Ray Hayes attracted much-needed attention to the nutrient pollution problem, setting the stage for action by local and state leaders to address the problem. CSX, who's here today, they've provided an early support to launch our youth education programs, helping us to foster the next generation of advocates. We have actually now, with their help and others from the Edna Sproul Williams Foundation and now the Furek Foundation have taken thousands of kids out on the water to experience the river, many for the first time. Thank you. When JU was building the Marine Science Research Institute, Bruce and Judy Homeyer, they helped to underwrite our offices. And I can't tell you enough how important it is that we were able to move into the MSRI. It has truly been a game changer for this organization. When we needed significant funds to challenge Central Florida's plans to withdraw millions of gallons of water from the St. Johns and to ensure the dredging would not harm our river, the Weavers stepped up to the plate. Their matching gifts were crucial to our efforts. Recently, Dolores Weaver also provided a 5-year legacy grant to support Resilient Ribault, which is a partnership we're doing right now in the Ribault River area and Moncrief Creek area with LISC Jacksonville. And these are just some of the examples of the tremendous support we've received at key moments over the past 25 years. We're grateful to these donors that I've just mentioned, but we're also grateful to each and every one of you that has contributed to this organization over the years and helped support us. I was looking back actually too that at the people have given the longest to Riverkeeper. We have over 150 people that have been giving to this organization for 20 years or more. That's remarkable. We're extremely grateful also for today's sponsors. I'm not going to mention them all, but let me mention at least the top sponsors, and please do pay attention to the screen and in your program. North Florida Land Trust, thank you. CSX, Barbara Gubbin, who's also a big supporter of this event today, and Lee and Kate's Glass. Yep. And we also had some significant in-kind donations. Thank you, Doubletree. They've been fantastic. C&H Printing and Gemstone Media. So I thank all of you sponsors for making this event possible. I also thank all of you for buying a ticket and being here today. With your ongoing support, we will continue to provide the river with a voice for the next 25 years. And I hope you'll stick with us because we've got big plans for the years to come, and we're going to continue to fight for our St. Johns River. Now, I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, a fellow river lover and fellow native of Jacksonville. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Donna Deegan.
It's a beautiful day. It makes me wish we were all out on the St. Johns right now. It really is glorious out there. I hope you get a chance to spend some time outside, but although I am really just as thrilled to be here with all of you today. So many familiar faces, and I have to say that, it's amazing, as I'm looking at Jim and Tricia, I mean, it's amazing you see the same folks stepping up over and over again, in addition to all the volunteers, that we just have a wonderful community that loves our river, and I'm so grateful that the people who can really do step up and help all the efforts to try to make our river the healthiest that it can be. I'd like to start by extending my deepest gratitude to the organization's dedicated staff and volunteers. What an amazing job all of you do. Your tireless efforts, passion, and commitment to defending really our greatest natural asset and protecting our environment are invaluable. Whether you're out on the water with the River Patrol, organizing cleanups, or you're testing water quality, advocating for water policies, or simply engaging with our community about the importance of preserving the St. Johns River, your contributions are improving our quality of life in both the present and for generations to come. St. Johns Riverkeeper's educational and engagement programs create opportunities for citizens to get involved, build a sense of ownership, and create shared responsibility for the health of the river. This empowerment is vital to keeping the waterway clean and healthy, and by extension, keeping all of us healthy. The St. Johns River is truly the lifeblood of our city. It's our past, our present, and of course, it's our future. From the very beginning, the river has defined Jacksonville. I don't care how many different slogans we come up with for the city, I will always call it the River City by the Sea. That's always been my favorite, and I'll keep saying it. It continues to shape our community on so many levels today. It's no exaggeration to say the health of the St. Johns River is directly tied to the health of our city and our residents. This beautiful 310-mile river sustains us, fuels our economy, feeds our people, and provides opportunities for recreation, education, and community connection. The challenges we face, from pollution to nutrient runoff to the impacts of climate change and flooding, are very significant. But I also believe that Jacksonville is a resilient community and one that loves its river. We are a city with a deep-rooted commitment to sustainability. That environmental stewardship is powered by the collective effort of organizations like the St. John's Riverkeeper, as well as the many incredible volunteers and community partners here in this room. You, our Riverkeepers, are the champions of this river and of our city. I'm proud of the progress we've made over the past 20 months. And as we all know, there is still a lot of work ahead of us. When I took office, I shared Jacksonville's commitment to becoming a more resilient and sustainable and a healthier city. One of the cornerstones of that vision is ensuring the long-term health of our waterways, especially the St. John's River. As mayor, my goal is to build a city that is prepared for the future, a future with a lasting legacy of environmental preservation. That's why I'm so excited. Thank you. That's why I am so excited about what we've achieved and what's to come. In just a short time, we have made a lot of progress, and I want to talk a little bit about that. For instance, our CRO, Ann Colanisi, has done a masterful job implementing the city's Resilient Jacksonville strategy. We've made headway in implementing nearly all of the actions in this strategy, with ongoing progress on the creation of a cutting-edge compound flood model and the creation of an urban forestry master plan. We've also made significant headway on sustainability and environmental stewardship thanks to Ashante Green, our sustainability manager. Ashante is here today, and she is a rock star, and I'm so happy to have her with me at the city. She is really essential in this effort for us. We are pursuing LEED for city certification, wrapping up the Northeast Florida Climate Action Plan, not just for Jacksonville, but for the entire region. And we're launching a composting pilot with DCPS and the World Wildlife Fund. Last week, I was proud to become the first mayor in the state to proclaim Lights Out Nights. This initiative encourages building owners to turn off lights during spring and fall bird migrations. That reduces the impact of light pollution on our local wildlife and ecosystems. And of course, the Jacksonville Environmental Protection Board has provided funding for the ever-popular State of the River Report for 17 years now. This annual snapshot of the health of our most precious asset, the St. John's River, provides valuable insight on several broad indicators, including aquatic life, water quality, fisheries, and contaminants. Recent years have also seen the inclusion of information about our numerous tributaries. The most recent report shows we have improved over the years, but all of our tributaries are affected, and there's still a whole lot of room for improvement. We've taken bold steps, but we also know that the work must be ongoing and consistent. We are committed to septic tank phase-outs, tackling ash remediation, expanding public access to our waterways, and exploring every possible avenue to continue making progress on these and other critical issues. The road ahead may be long, but our commitment remains unwavering. Progress isn't just about incentives and programs, it's about people. Communication and education play a huge role in the success of our environmental efforts. That's why we're also exploring new ways to better communicate with the public about our progress on these important environmental priorities. Keeping the community informed and engaged is key to ensuring our collective efforts are effective and impactful. Getting where we want to be will require all of our collective effort, and I'm glad the city has partners like Riverkeeper who are equally committed to these efforts. Our administration is open to working with any and all who share our commitment to protecting this jewel in our community, so doing so is vital to our quality of life. That brings me to an exciting announcement. Next month, in honor of Earth Month, the city will be launching a new campaign to fight litter and blight on our waterways, roadways, and neighborhoods. We know that litter doesn't just affect the aesthetic value of our environment. It's a real threat to our water quality, our economy, our health, and the health of the wildlife that is dependent on these ecosystems. This initiative will provide the coordination and resources necessary to launch successful campaigns, events, and educational programs to clean up our waterways, our roadways, in our neighborhoods and keep them pristine. Thank you. It will engage representatives from government agencies, businesses, nonprofits, and citizens. It's a call to action for everyone in our community to take pride in our city and participate in keeping it clean. So please be sure to keep an eye out for that. We'll be sending out more details, and we really want all of you involved and to help us spread the word. In conclusion, I truly believe the St. Johns River is our shared heritage. It's not only a powerful symbol of our city, but one that deserves our collective commitment. As we look ahead, we must embrace both the challenges and the opportunities that lie before us, with a focus on resilience, sustainability, environmental stewardship, and community action. For 25 years, St. Johns Riverkeeper has been at the forefront of this fight, and I am excited for what the next 25 will bring. As we continue to advocate for the health of our river and the well-being of our community, I'm committed to supporting efforts to elevate this work. Together, we'll ensure the St. Johns River remains a healthy, vibrant part of our city for many years to come. So congratulations on 25 years, and cheers to 25 more.
Thank you, Mayor Deegan, for your passion, dedication, and most importantly, your inspiration you provide so many of us. We appreciate your commitment to making our community and our waterways more resilient, and look forward to tackling the compounding environmental threats to our river, our health, and Jacksonville's quality of life together. Another round of applause for Mayor Deegan. And good afternoon, everyone. I am Lisa Rinaman. I'm honored and proud to be your St. Johns Riverkeeper. I have to say, a lot of emotions going through my mind right now looking out at this great crowd. You have all done so much for our St. Johns. When I jumped into this position in 2012, I asked my predecessor, the Neil Armajon, what was his best piece of advice he would give me. He simply stated, every day do what's right for the river. And that's exactly what we do. While every day is unique, we take each day for what it is, we learn from the day before, and we do what needs to be done. We investigate, we educate, we advocate, we negotiate, and if necessary, we litigate. And we do this all for the river. But today we celebrate. We celebrate 25 years of working towards fulfilling our mission to defend the St. Johns River and advocate for its protection. And we do so with gratitude to all who have contributed to this movement, and we have an ongoing commitment to strategic connectivity, to do this work with compassionate grit, and a burning desire for clean, healthy waters for all. Let's start with gratitude. We're grateful for each of you who have contributed to or had a role in our water wins over the last 25 years, and for your ongoing commitment to tackle the challenges of today and of the future. We're thankful for the trailblazing of RK1, our first Riverkeeper, Michael Hollingsworth, and the tenacity of the one and only Neil Armajon. Along with dedicated scientists and legal experts, our founding Riverkeepers had early foundational wins that led to Florida's first total maximum daily loads and basin management action plans. The first ones in Florida were right here. Those are regulatory tools that set a cap on pollution and an enforceable plan to reduce current levels of nutrient, bacteria, and other pollutions. In addition, Neil was successful in winning a JEA challenge that legally committed JEA to implement a process shifting from simply putting a Band-Aid on habitual sewage spills to getting to the root cause of unacceptable levels of sanitary sewer overflows that, despite the name, there's nothing sanitary about it. These foundational wins still provide ongoing benefit to the St. Johns and its tributaries as regulatory tools that we can use to protect our river and its waters today. We're also thankful for Earth Justice, who's represented us in the beginning and continues to fight for the St. Johns River today. In 2020, when the federal government approved a developer-backed scheme to turn wetlands permitting over to the state and violate U.S. U.S. environmental laws, Earth Justice came to the task and filed suit on our behalf, as well as other Florida environmental organizations. In early 2024, a federal court ruled in our favor and determined that the agencies violated federal law, and when they greenlit Florida's takeover of the Clean Water Act wetlands permitting program. Judge Moss returned the wetlands program back to where it belonged and made sure that they restored critical checks and balances to protect Florida wetlands. As we expected, the state of Florida is appealing, and our Earth Justice team is right now preparing for oral arguments to sustain this major victory for Florida wetlands. We're also grateful for the Public Trust for Conservation and John November, who represent us in several industrial stormwater Clean Water Act suits. This joint effort is bringing industry sites into compliance where the agencies are not, and reducing contaminated stormwater for runoff from reaching our waters. So if we could give them a hand for all that great work. We also want to thank our legal committee, several members who have been, including Wayne Hogan, who's been on for the whole entire time it's been around for 20 years, at least 2 decades, and Hank Cox somewhere out there, who's the chair of our current legal committee. They provide strategic guidance for all of our legal efforts, and our water policy group that works to garner better local and state policy to protect our waterways. Both of these volunteer groups have been active for more than 2 decades, shepherding our work and doing their part for the river. And of course, none of this would be possible without the leadership of our volunteer board and all of our dedicated staff. So if you could give all those great folks a hand. Now to our ongoing commitment to strategic connectivity. Just as our founders based the creation of St. John's Riverkeeper by connecting with diverse stakeholders to protect our beloved river, we must strive to further connect upriver with our sister communities, as well as with everyone that has their own deep connection with the St. John's River. The only way to truly restore and protect the St. John's is to be deeply rooted and connected along the river's natural flow of 310 miles of slow-moving backwater, its lakes, its springs, its tributaries, and its 8,800 square mile watershed. I want to thank North Florida Land Trust for all the work that they're doing to increase conservation land. You have to protect land to protect water. Thank you guys for all you do. Strategic connectivity, like our Headwaters Advisory Council, led by board member Bill Zobe. Where's Bill? He's somewhere right in here. There's Bill Zobe. Who lives in Brevard County. He provides our Headwaters Advisory Council with leadership, and they provide us with oversight, expertise, and connectivity to upper basin decision makers to address threats at the very source of our river. Threats like Florida's failed sewage sludge policy that incentivizes South Florida to dispose as much as 90,000 tons annually of partially treated, concentrated human waste on farmland adjacent to the headwaters of the St. John's. This practice is simply unacceptable, unsustainable, and quite literally stinks. Our collective work in the headwaters led to an Indian River County moratorium on sewage sludge import and more protective policies passed by the Florida legislature. However, much more must be done to protect us all downstream and ensure that Florida has sustainable sewage management strategy, which is simply, unfortunately, not the case today. Our river is not the dumping ground for South Florida's waste. Bill and our team will be back on the river this Friday in the headwaters, taking water and soil samples as ammunition for this ongoing fight. Strategic connectivity, like our Save Our Rivers Grasses expedition. In 2023, we launched a 5-year partnership with riverfront residents, fishermen, scientists, and community leaders to seek answers and solutions to the disappearing SAV of the St. John's. Submerged aquatic vegetation, also known as SAV, is the foundation of our river's health, providing biofiltration, habitat, and food for both commercial and residential fisheries, erosion control, oxygenation of the water column, carbon sequestration, and much more. They're worth protecting. Unfortunately, the St. Johns River SAV is suffering mounting threats and stress, much to our alarm, as well as of scientists, fishermen, homeowners, and other river enthusiasts. Over 12 days each summer, our team conducts multiple surveys over an 80-mile stretch of the St. Johns River between Doctors Lake and Lake George, searching for remaining grass beds, taking measurements, conducting water quality testing, and seeking solutions to restore this vital habitat. Our data collection is enhanced by the observations of those who have lived, explored, fished, or studied our river for decades. Our field logs publish a snapshot of these conversations combined with historical agency data, real-time conditions documented each summer for a total of 5 years to identify solutions to reverse this devastating loss of rivergrass. This ongoing effort would not be possible without the partnership and dedicated team at Jacksonville University, their students who serve as intern scientists to conduct this informative but tedious task of data collection, as well as the dedication of Captain Steve Cobb and our advocacy specialist, Soraya Adenajad, who staff this event and coordinate our efforts. This year, we're expanding our research in partnership with the Coastal Conservation Association, thanks to CCA members Mark Fiegel and Jeff Marks, who are somewhere in the room, and a new organization of freshwater anglers, Mighty River Recovery, who are based out of DeLand. Together, we're expanding our research by installing protective enclosures to relieve grazing pressure at 10 sites on the lower St. Johns, and expanding our expedition footprint into the Middle Basin to collect more data and build more momentum to save our river's grasses. Strategic connectivity like the Reunite the Rivers Coalition. We are proud to be a member of the Reunite the Rivers Coalition, which includes 60 organizations representing thousands of members from across Florida, with a collective mission to restore a free-flowing Ocklawaha River, reconnecting Silver Springs and the St. Johns Rivers, and elevating the regional benefits for all. Led by our community engagement specialist, Jessica Finch, who lives in Putnam County, this coalition is changing the conversation around restoring the natural flow of the Ocklawaha, changing the conversation from one that historically was focused on what would be lost to a conversation focusing on what will be gained, connecting local citizens, elected officials, commercial and recreational fishermen, economists, and scientists. This grassroots, facts-based effort, local dialogue, has resulted in a 74% approval rating for restoration in Putnam County and growing support for restoring the natural connection of Silver Springs, the Ocklawaha, and the St. Johns. Stay tuned for more details how you can help. And strategic connectivity like Resilient Revault. St. John's Riverkeeper and List Jacksonville launched Resilient Revault, an initiative to address the challenges facing our waterways and communities in the Revault River watershed. This area of the St. Johns River is highly vulnerable to flooding, pollution, in addition to numerous socioeconomic factors. Resilient Revault aims to provide equitable access and connect residents to local waterways, advocate for much-needed solutions, water quality improvements, and address housing and economic issues to create more resilient neighborhoods. While healthy waterways are critical to our quality of life, that's not the only factor that impacts our overall health and well-being of our communities. By working with LISC, community members, and other partners, we're using our collective resources, knowledge, and expertise to address problems more holistically and to create more resilient neighborhoods as a pilot for future expansion. And lastly, strategic connectivity like Waterkeepers Florida. Founded in 2018, Waterkeepers Florida is a regional entity uniting all 15 waterkeeper organizations working in our state to protect and restore Florida waterways across more than 45,000 square miles of watershed containing 15 million people. We do so through collaboration and collective action on statewide issues that will affect all of our waterways across the state. We do all of this work with a commitment and compassionate grit. As we celebrate today, we must face the new challenges of 2025 and commit to do so together. Compassionate grit is a combination of perseverance and passion for a long-term meaningful goal, and with empathy and kindness towards ourselves and towards others. Together, we must protect the health of our water, our neighbors, and of our families. Unfortunately, there's an elevated direct assault as we speak on clean water. With our community, the water that our community and businesses rely on every day, and climate change is making our river and our community more vulnerable. Plans are right now ramping up to eliminate scientific research that protects us from contamination and predicts future threats, and also to repeal dozens of the nation's most significant environmental regulations, including the ones we've spent 25 years fighting for. We cannot stand for this. Fortunately, clean water is a bipartisan issue, and it's one that's the foundation of our community and local economy. There is also a strong bipartisan support for clean water policies and a healthy St. John's. Our river needs you now more than ever. Our river needs us working together to ensure that we protect the St. John's River for today and for future generations. We need more action to prioritize clean water at every level of government to protect our families as well as our prosperity. Today, we must build on the experience of the last 25 years and charge into the future with a shared burning desire for clean, healthy waters for all. We thank you and look forward to our next chapter. We are making a difference, and we look forward to working with you for our river. Thank you.